Stop wasting your money and time buying expensive razors. For just a couple bucks a month, DollarShaveClub.com will ship amazing quality razors right to your door. Come on, join the hundreds of thousands of guys who have upgraded to the smarter way to shave. Shave time, shave money. Join now at DollarShaveClub.com/patch. Hey everyone, welcome to the patch.
Everybody.
Our weekly discussion of video game news and happenings and goings on.
And being out of breath.
Ashley ran here.
Just ran back from somewhere else.
5 seconds before we went live.
Look at that pride on her face.
Spoiler alert, I was peeing.
The only video game podcast where the hosts run any distance whatsoever.
We're shooting a production in the kitchen right now, and I just ran right through, and I was like, no time.
Sorry.
I hope they're not rolling.
Listen, as much as that's a fun production that's going on right now, but it's taking over a lot of the office. And they'll be shooting with you Friday.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah.
So here's something we're gonna do a little different today, and I want to get this started right away. I've been playing a lot of Shadow of Mordor. It's actually been the game I've been playing on the treadmill.
Great game.
I am up to complete the campaign. Actually, I have 100% of all the achievements. Yeah, I'm playing it on Xbox One. Playing Shadow of Mordor. It took me 45 miles, Gus.
Wow.
To do 100% of Shadow of Mordor.
Only 45 miles?
That was it. Only 45 miles.
Well, you've been playing it in the living room too, so you've got that
a little bit
as well.
Yeah, I have.
I think I'm like 50% of the way through with achievements, and I've gone 0 miles.
So
in your face.
Today,
I do like that he's like, this is a 45-mile game.
My achievement to mile ratio is way better than yours.
Dude, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I have to say. Now, that is, a franchise that's got a couple different iterations in it. But it's Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which is on my games history list right here. That one took me about 90 miles to 100%.
Wow.
And I haven't yet because I'm at 88% because it's got goddamn multiplayer achievements.
Goddamn
Well, it's got
achievements.
I hate this about achievements when they put them in multiplayer, because to me achievements are what makes single player competitive.
Right.
And they even put stuff in like, hey, try this Game Labs game mode. Well, by the time I got around to playing Assassin's Creed 4, nobody is in the Game Labs playlist. So it's like I can't even get a game to get the one game I need to get an achievement in it. So, but I'm going to try to do is there's a challenge that just started this week. It's to kill 500 orcs basically, in the...
They're very clear.
So what is
orcs and orcs are different.
Explain the difference to me here, too. Let's talk a little bit about Shadow of Mordor. Have we talked about it yet on the?
We talked a little bit.
Patch?
Only the last couple episodes.
Sorry,
we may have mentioned it.
I've been absent working on something to do with sci-fi laser people. So,
just like
would you call them a team?
So orcs are like the smaller, scrawnier ones, right? Like, and then aurochs are like the bigger, smarter ones.
But they're still orcs. I mean, right? They're just
aurochs.
Like, they're like orc plus.
Yeah, orc plus.
They're basically and aurochs come out of the ground. Is that the deal? They grow them from the ground.
Yeah, they have a big harviter come through.
Listen, I'm going with the lore here.
I actually think that they do.
Yeah,
really?
Do you remember the scene where Saruman cuts them out of the goop, like the embryonic?
There's like an underground mine.
Anyway, I'm gonna kill 500 of these fuckers
now
over the course of this hour, hopefully.
Do you think you can do it?
Come on, are you kidding me?
You've only got 55 minutes left.
Dude, this game does kill streaks, which open up like your executions and different little bonuses as well. I almost got up to 100 kill streak.
Damn.
The hard part of this point is actually like maintaining a mob long enough to get that streak going that high, because you get runes that you can add to your character. And one of the ones I got is when a captain is killed by you, it replenishes all my stuff, which is great normally, but also scares the shit out of all the orcs around you and they go running away.
You I guess, assume you also have the trait so that if you take a hit, your kill streak is not interrupted?
One hit, I can take one hit and my kill streak's not interrupted.
But in this case, you don't have to kill 500 in a streak. You just have to kill 500.
I said to kill 500. And I'm using the snap. I'm using the snap achievement here, the app, which is kind of annoying. It's pretty slow. But it lets me track my progress. So if I get one kill here eventually.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it.
This 500 is going to go slow, I think.
I hate those guys with the shields.
Does it count if you dominate them?
I don't know if that counts as a kill.
I don't think it would.
Yeah, it counts every other way. Like I have the thing of not to spoil anything in the game, but later on you can unlock your sword to the point where you can build up this little meter and you can go on like an execution spree or a stealth spree and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I think you can, if you dominate them, you have the option to kill. So maybe if you kill them in that menu, then you'd have it would count towards the achievement or the quest.
So you're 1% of the way done. Really.
My biggest
really
challenge here today, I'm gonna go to where this a lot of works. My biggest challenge today is actually I've been playing Assassin's Creed in the meantime, going back and finishing up Freedom Cry. So my control schemes are like
the runs are like opposite.
Right trigger to run versus A and stuff like that.
When I first started playing Shadow of Mordor, I had that problem constantly.
Yeah.
I was wanting to run and then just crouching down and sneaking.
So what is this game available on? Is it on everything pretty much?
Yeah, not on 360 or PS3 yet. That comes out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, that will be out. It's not out yet, and then it's gonna have a pared down version of the Nemesis system. No one's really detailed what pared down means, and it's kind of a shame because the Nemesis system is what makes this game amazing. Like, it's a good game already, but the Nemesis system is what takes it from good to a really great game, in my opinion.
So this guy he went and got the alarm bell ringing, which normally I would go kill that guy, but no.
Get some orcs. Let it rain.
Bring your buddies.
Let it rain, orcs.
Oh, see, now here's a captain. This is the best part of the game, actually, are the personalities of these captains. But now that this guy showed up, it's like I can't not kill him, because I just can't have any self-control. But then he'll clear everybody out, though, when I kill him. So I should technically let him escape. Yeah, he will for me, because I have a rune that allows me to do that.
Just dominate him. Or take your rune off.
Yeah, I guess I could.
Oh, wow, I don't get to take my rune off. I'm too overpowered.
Anyway.
Speaking of Assassin's Creed, did you hear that this week they announced that Assassin's Creed Rogue will also be on PC?
Yes, in early 2015, I think, is the timeline.
Yeah, which makes sense. Can you imagine, like, 2 games coming out in the same franchise on PC the same day? Come on, guys.
And Rogue is the version that's coming out on the 360 and PS3, while Unity is the version coming out on the PS4 and Xbox One.
So Rogue is the one that's going to be about a Templar, basically.
An assassin turned Templar.
Yes.
Have they announced any PC details for Unity? Is that coming out PC as well?
It is coming out on PC. It's been announced for PC for a long time, but like PC specific details, not really. Mm-hmm. You know, Ubisoft isn't known for having a super strong PC implementation.
It's like they lead the development on console and then port to PC.
Which brings up 2 other topics as well. One is the fact that there's an Assassin's Creed bundle coming for the Xbox One, I know. And it's going to include Assassin's Creed Unity, and it's going to include Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag.
Yes.
The one thing about it, though, is that they're not doing a custom Xbox, it doesn't look like, at least in all the press materials that I've seen.
Why would you do that? Well, you know...
It's if you want to buy, if you're a big Assassin's Creed fan and this is how you're getting into the Xbox and you're going to buy an Xbox anyway.
Yeah, I guess, but it just... I don't know, I guess that because there have been so many cool custom consoles just over the years, I think that Xbox 360 really sort of built this into people's expectations, is when there's going to be a cool bundle, it's going to be in custom Xbox.
Yeah, I was really disappointed. I kept looking through the press materials and trying to find like other news sites to see if there were any pictures of the Xbox, and I was like, oh no, it's just a black one.
Yeah. Like the white one I kind of get because you remember last generation when they brought out the was it the 250 gig hard drive or the 500 gig hard drive, and it was like this super epic one that only came in bundles for a while with this with the extra big hard drive. That only came in bundles, and then they sold it standalone, which I imagine is what they're doing with the white version.
And the white version is coming out with Sunset Overdrive,
and also the Master Chief Collection in Brazil is going to have a white version of it as well.
And they have said they have no plans on bringing that bundle.
I read they're going to bring it to select markets, but they specifically said not in the U.S.
Which makes sense because they're probably trying to get people to buy Sunset Overdrive, whereas they don't need any help selling the Master Chief Collection.
That'll sell pretty well in the U.S. I would actually like a white Xbox One. I wish I had a white Xbox One because it would fit better in the console that I have at home. So it's tempting to try to sell an existing Xbox One that I have and then buy one that's white.
So
Sunset Overdrive bundle.
Yeah, get the Sunset Overdrive one. Apparently, they announced the white Xbox for Brazil at the Brazil Game Show.
How come we don't exhibit at the Brazil Game Show, Gus?
It's funny you ask. I looked into it.
Did you?
I really did. I looked into getting us down there.
Does it go on the same time as, what is it, Carousel, Camelot? No, hold on. It's like a fairground term. And it's a big show where all the ladies with the Carnival.
There's one in Austin. Just so you know, Ash, if you're interested in Carnival.
There is their carousel.
And you want to wear pretty costumes at Carnival, I'd be happy to take you to that event.
Brazil Game Show.
My pleasure.
Brazil Game Show happens in October, and Carnival's typically like Fat Tuesday, like in February.
Would you go to Brazil?
Fat Tuesday.
Yeah, I'd go to Brazil.
I heard a crazy story one time about Brazil with like these kids running down a hill and robbing everyone on a beach.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Come on, don't tell me you want to go do that.
If you're one of the kids.
Yeah, it sounds like fun. We all remember doing that as a kid.
Hey, we're not on this gameplay the entire time, are we?
No, come on. We built a beautiful set.
I didn't realize we were going to be streaming this the whole time. Sorry, guys.
No,
Hey, we're back.
No pressure, Bernie, but we do see that you're 7% of the way through and looking good.
I noticed
was
that
particularly
Ashley
nice.
immediately recognized the fact that I didn't want people watching my gameplay. We'll give you regular updates on my progress.
So they released the intro cinematic for Civilization Beyond Earth.
How excited are you,
I got
Gus?
to watch it. I'm pretty excited, pretty stoked to play that.
So did you play Alpha Centauri?
Yes, I did play Alpha Centauri. I remember very little about it. I remember playing it.
Oh, so you're not one of
and
those people
being
who's like a
super
huge
happy.
evangelist for the Alpha Centauri?
No.
Like, I never played it, but it's like I always feel like I missed out on something because everybody who played Alpha Centauri talks about it like it's the greatest game ever.
I would agree. Apparently, this is a spiritual successor. It's by the same people and all that stuff. So it's the closest you can get as a spiritual successor. But apparently, there have been other games very similar to what Beyond Earth is doing that have been third-party spiritual successors.
Oh, you mean copycats? What's the word for that? Where something is like such a like
Come on. Imitation is the serious form of flattery, right?
Is it clones? Is that what you call it now? Clones? Yeah. Like,
knockoff.
Yeah.
But that also implies that they don't do anything original with it. So I don't know.
I don't know about that because
Inspired by
I
us?
consider Saints Row to be the best like clone franchise because it's a clone of.
It started as a clone franchise,
Yeah, then it
but
took
I
its
would
own
also say
direction.
that it's not anymore
you
because
get-
they've done something original with it.
But can you really like get beyond your origins as a clone? I mean, even if you make a great game, I mean, did
I-
you,
I would argue that Saints Row
I think
did.
Saints Row
I
did it
don't think of
successfully.
Saints Row as a GTA clone at all.
all right, I run with A.
They definitely were at first, but they
Yeah,
took off.
Saints,
They
Saints
developed
Row 2-ish, right? But then like by Saints Row 3, they were getting really
Saints
insane.
Row the third.
The third.
They,
I'm so
they
sorry.
successfully developed their own universe and then really played into it. And it's funny you bring up Saints Row. There was actually some Saints Row news in my list of topics to talk about this week.
All right.
Apparently, there was a Saints Row title that was canceled by THQ in 2012 called Saints Row the Cooler, which was a fighting game that supposedly used the Kinect to track your movements.
Well, I'm
and
not
you would
surprised that
fight.
got canceled.
I'm not surprised either. When I was reading about this thing, it was to take advantage of the kinetic movement. You know, no pun intended on movement. Like when kinetic games were big. I don't remember when kinetic games were big. I remember when they made a bunch of kinetic.
I remember when they thought they were going to be big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like there was the UFC. There was like a UFC fighting game that was Kinect centric.
We totally fucked up.
You know what?
We're fine.
Speaking of this hourglass,
character
honestly,
just died
look,
too.
people on the internet, can you find us an hourglass that's got a lower center of gravity, like a really cool looking hourglass? I
No,
worry
come on.
about
No,
this
it's
one.
No, this is like this is how you tell the
No,
history
you
of the
you nearly just broke it again.
That's the point, Ash. Is this tells like historically that we're making progress as we destroy these things. I just died and some Auric got promoted to the army now.
So the cooler would also have featured mini games like poker tournaments and the ability
Ooh,
to
poker
get
tournaments.
lap dances.
What is that?
Oh, yeah, I have no idea. So no, I guess it was.
I know what a lap dance is. I'm just asking what is that in a video game?
Yeah,
Why would you want that?
THQ canceled the project actually in fall 2010 over quality concerns.
Do you remember in GTA 5 there was a thing going around right after it came out that or GTA Online that people would go and they'd be getting lap dances or whatever in the clubs and you can like whisper to the
There was
girls
voice
and
commands.
but yeah you could like whisper to the stripper but that voice everyone in your party could hear it.
That's awful.
It was the best. I love those videos.
Those videos were great. Those videos were really great. I also liked all the performance stuff people were doing with Grand Theft Auto. Like they would have parties in their house and like they'd like make people get in the shower and stuff like that. There was some of the funniest stuff coming out of Grand Theft Auto Online when it first launched, and then it dropped off so friggin' fast.
Well,
you know?
it's I mean Rockstar still hasn't delivered on stuff like heists,
Yeah, I
which is what looked especially cool about GTA Online. I mean, Payday 2, if you ask me, is hugely benefiting from that, or has the opportunity to at the very least.
Well, I think that once we see PS4 and Xbox One versions come out, here pretty soon, that that heists will follow immediately after, and then we'll see a resurgence in GTA Online.
I would
at that time.
suspect so, but I also would have, expected it to like maybe it'd be the 6-month bump after the game comes out, and there's none of that.
You want to make a prediction?
What's that?
What do you think will be out sooner? Do you think was it Hardline will be out sooner, or GTA Heist will be out sooner?
Hardline.
I think so too.
I joked when GTA Online didn't launch at first that we wouldn't see it until the PS4 and Xbox One versions came out, and I didn't think that would be at all true.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's
Why'd
gonna
you say it
it's gonna
then?
happen.
It's gonna be the case.
It's just a joke. I just talk to talk.
It's hyperbole.
I just talked the talk.
That's what I do. We have an hour that I have to talk.
So
If you don't make shit up, you're
actual
gonna run
opinion
out.
goes out the fucking window.
One last thing I wanted to say about the THQ about the Saints Row game. Apparently, Joystick did an article about it. They contacted Deep Silver, who owns the franchise now, to find out if they had any plans with the cooler. And Deep Silver said it was the first they'd heard of the game.
Really?
Yeah. So apparently they bought the franchise, had no idea about it.
Well, one of the things about Oh, it went down again. One of the things about the article that I read about that was said it's a brawler game. I don't know what a brawler game is.
I think it's just like a fighting game.
What does that mean, though? Like a side?
More
like Street Fighter?
It's a fighting game that is, hold on, no, I'm coming up with this.
Like, what is the game that started the brawler genre?
Maybe it's fists as opposed to weapons, or it's more like, gang thug as opposed to like martial artist.
Even the tone of your voice just says you're making stuff up on the fly.
Totally
I'm
is it like
it's an hour? You just gotta talk.
What was it like? Was it Final Fight? Was that like that style game as a brawler?
No, I picture that like an action side-scrolling game almost.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm sure check our comments on Twitter. I'm sure someone's
corrected us and defined it.
Yeah, and Gus is gonna have to be on Twitter duty today because I don't have my laptop because I was busy. I was busy peeing when I should have been laptoping.
All right, graphic details. Here we go.
So Destiny had a patch the other day, and as part of the patch, they created a haunted cave where the loot cave used to be, which I thought was a really cool nod
in the process of nerfing the second loot cave.
Right. So now when you go to the original loot cave, there's a prompt where you can disturb the remains, and you hear a voice whispering that something like 1,000,000 souls weren't enough for Master Rahul.
Yeah, who is the Cryptarch?
Yeah, which is awesome. It's a great nod, I think, to what happened.
Bungie's always been really good about community, but I think they're nailing it with Destiny. Like they're really identifying things that are kind of like, even like a loot cave is a bit of a misstep. But they take advantage of those and they make them like part of the community, and that's a smart way to do that. Like they did that with that Wizard Came from the Moon shirts when they made those. After
I think someone that we know has one of those Wizard.
I wish I'd gotten
shirts.
one.
Someone we know.
Who's that? You?
Yeah, I got one.
I see. You're so
Did you
smart.
wear it?
Gosh,
I think you wore it on the
smarter than
patch
I am.
last week.
Yeah, I did. They and I believe they donated all the proceeds from that to charity.
Why?
Why not?
It's a charity for wizards.
Well, I mean, it's just like usually you do that for a specific reason. I mean,
Hogwarts
it's cool,
doesn't pay
but,
for itself.
Neither does a $500 million game.
Moon Wizards are a neglected cause.
That's true. That's true. It's a Moon Wizard College.
Yeah, Moon Wizard U.
Yeah, but I gotta say too, it's like Destiny is the game I'm playing right now, Shadow of Mordor and Destiny. I said this on the RT podcast. I feel like these are the two titles that were released. I finally feel like there's a new generation of console gaming.
It was a little bit like that last generation as well.
It took a year for it to get to this point for me, but it's finally here, I think.
Yeah, we're finally starting to see some cool features. And for people who don't listen to RT podcasts, I also mentioned Alien Isolation. And how Alien Isolation, I don't know if you've played it yet, Ashley.
Nope.
It has a feature
She doesn't play horror games.
Nope.
You can integrate it with your Kinect so that when you're in what they call peek mode, like when you're sneaking, you can move your head to like look around objects. Like if you're hiding behind the boxes, you can like peek up, and your character on screen will also do it.
Cool.
And also it'll
is that like the new like the car turning thing, like turn your head in the car and the car turns?
And it also activates the microphone, and if you make a loud noise, it can attract the alien to you.
Oh man, it's not quite the same thing, but there's a little bit of that in Dead Rising 3 where you can call these
You're
zombies,
crazy.
Or you say, come here or over here, and then all the zombies will walk towards you.
I would be working or something or reading, and I'd hear Bernie go, "Over here! Stop listening!" Or "You're crazy! Stop listening!"
That game will make the non-gamers in your house hate all the gamers in the house, for sure.
It was awful. And then, or he'd be running through the house going, "Xbox pause!"
Yeah.
Oh, that was the other one.
Yeah. Oh, the Dead Rising 3 when it came out had a problem where it would unpause itself randomly.
I don't think that was just when it came out. As far as I know, it's
still doing it. I
Yeah.
guess I stopped playing it after a while.
Yeah, luckily when I would leave
It's
my
not a bug,
kitchen,
it's a feature.
or I would leave my game to go to my kitchen to make a drink. My kitchen was close enough where I could keep an eye on it and then like make my drink really fast and then run back.
I never really heard much about that, but yeah, that was a big issue. But one of the things I want to talk about too, since we were talking about releasing things and whether they can be released in certain markets, Phil Spencer was talking too, defending the Xbox ID parity system, which essentially is that they want to make sure that all independent games, if they're going to be released for multiple platforms, that they have to be released on Xbox at the same time as they're released on other platforms. First of all, I don't know how you enforce that, because I just say, well, I'm not going to make it for Xbox, and that would be my response.
What's happening.
What's that? Is that what people are saying?
Well, I mean, look at all the games. Like No Man's Sky is not coming to Xbox One. Axiom Verge
is it not coming to Xbox One because of that rule?
I mean, it's not the sort of thing that they'll probably come out and say, but it's planned for PC and it's planned for PS4, and that's all they're saying.
Yeah, that really doesn't feel like an independent game to me, even though I guess it is.
There's a couple weird things about what he's saying. Is on the one hand, I get that he was saying that he didn't want people to develop games and then treat Xbox as an afterthought.
Sure, I totally get that.
Which I understand because, you get shitty ports.
Yeah.
And you don't want a shitty port.
Or
totally
you
get
go
that.
with what's going on with Minecraft and the PS Vita right now, where it's like, is the game coming out or is it not? Nobody
it's
seems to
coming out
understand.
It comes out this week.
Yeah.
After like a bunch of hubbub, like everybody was just like, when is this game being released and when's it going to come out? And
Yeah, but that's
just
also a 4J Mojang thing. I mean, they didn't announce the dates for Xbox One or PS4 until they'd been sent off to Microsoft. They just like, at some point.
Maybe they were trying to avoid debates among the consoles and
Debates
stuff.
and stuff.
Well, I think they did that because they weren't sure about the certification process, and it's a good thing they didn't
Right,
set a
but
hard
it's
date
Vita
because
as well.
it got kicked back on. I think Sony kicked it back,
PS4,
right, for the PS4 version.
You're telling me the certification process for Minecraft at the major console developers is not robust enough to where they can predict a release date?
Well, they weren't sure if it was going to come back.
Oh my God, that's ridiculous.
Speaking of Minecraft,
Yes.
they announced they're going to be porting it to Windows Phone. Big surprise
Everyone
after
is
the
so
Microsoft
surprised.
acquisition.
That is.
They do say that they're like, no, we definitely started this process before.
Well,
Bullshit.
oh,
I'm sure they
come
started
on.
it, and they were like, nobody has a Windows Phone.
I'm really happy that Windows Phone is getting it because I actually really like that platform.
She actually does.
It's an app graveyard, but I love the operating system.
Why
If
is
only there
that?
was stuff to run on it.
I actually had I had Windows Phone for several years. I mean, I was working for Microsoft. I got a free one. It was really nice.
Right.
And it's really great, but it just had so little install base. And when Windows Phone 7 came out, that just nobody was porting for it. I don't know if it's difficult to develop for or what, but just no one had apps for it. There's no Instagram. There's no Halocab. There's no, all those apps. You're like, oh, this great new app that's out. Never for Windows Phone. So I'm happy to see something as big as Minecraft come to Windows Phone. That's nice.
It's funny whenever I
Enjoy
see,
that because it's all Windows Phone.
Whenever I
gets.
see someone post a screenshot of an app in Windows Phone, like on Reddit or something, the comments are always like, "Oh, hey, look, another Windows Phone user."
What's up, brother?
Yeah.
It's like I'm number 3.
I'll see you at the meeting next week.
It's really great operating system. One really weird drawback is when you set up the phone, you set up your Windows ID. At that point, you cannot change it. So if you were to change your email address for Xbox Live, that's just too bad. You're
Well,
gonna
I
have to
think they'll
reinstall your
eventually
I don't even know how
change
you
that
do that,
because
honestly.
when Xbox Live first launched, it was a very similar thing where it had to be a passport address. Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And you couldn't change it. And I think Xbox Live went on for like 4 or 5
MSN
years.
passport? Was
before,
that what it was?
I think it was at first it was like Hotmail passport, then it
good
was
Lord.
MS passport, and like all of that ordeal. But
Yeah.
finally now you can actually change the email address.
Well, now your live ID is the big thing. They went through the big live initiative with everything, and now they're kind of like the one initiative, And I can't help but wonder if
It's gonna be one live soon.
I can't help but wonder if Xbox One had done better in its first year, if Windows 10 was not intended to be called Windows 1. I would not have been
God.
surprised.
Please no.
As like a unified platform. I think there's a definite possibility that was the case.
So it took me a while to realize why they skipped the number 9.
By the way, I'm at 25%. How much time do I have?
You got 35 minutes.
Oh, I'm boned. It's not going to happen for me.
You better start killing stuff a lot faster instead of just running around picking daisies,
I'm not
princess.
picking daisies.
It took me a long
I'm
time to
busy
figure out why they
resurrecting.
skipped the Windows 9, I guess, number. And then I read an explanation that said, basically, if you think about it, there's a lot of software that searches for your installed version of Windows. And for Windows 95 and 98, it searched for Windows 9X, like a wildcard. And so Windows 9 would have triggered the same as Windows 95 or 98.
Which makes sense, but isn't nearly as funny as like, oh, they're just trying to get away from 8.
Well, I guess,
That's
but
my
who's
favorite
installing
joke.
like Windows 95? Like, what is somebody like getting their Windows 10 computer and immediately installing WinZip?
Well, they may want to make sure, like it might be a program
Winamp.
checking to make sure you're not running 95 or 98 or something like that.
Okay, fair enough.
Don't knock Winamp. I had some totally
Dude,
cool
Winamp
skins for that.
was a revolution. It changed the world.
It whips a llama's ass.
Not many software, especially shareware software, can claim to do what Winamp did. I mean, that thing.
What did Winamp did?
I thought Winamp brought the MP3 format. Actually, when I first got Winamp, I thought that MP3s were the native format of Winamp. I thought I had to have the Winamp player to play MP3s. I didn't know it was a standard.
I just thought I totally had to have it for the sweet skins and then the awesome visualizations.
Skins, yeah.
I'd like full
I think
screen the
I paid-
visualizations and pretend I was in Hackers.
I think I paid for a Winamp skin at one point.
I think I spent
What?
half an afternoon one time installing a skin that was like had transparencies on it, and I was like showing it to all my friends and going, "Look at this, I'm a hacker."
I had one that was like all like circular and bubbly.
Oh yeah, I
that-
remember those.
Yeah, it was like sweet.
By the way, we're the oldest people on the planet.
I had
Like-
anime characters who I didn't even know who they were, but I was like, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
Another captain killed. Don't call me a hero.
So like similar to the Windows 90 or the Windows 9 problem, like OS 10 had a similar problem when now that they're releasing OS 10.10, because operating systems search for your installed version
right?
of OS 10, and they say, oh, you're running 10.1. That's too old for this software.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So I mean, it totally makes
They
sense.
should've just
I'm glad
gone to
they think about that
10.11.
stuff.
No, they should have just fucking gone to 11.
No,
Yeah.
I'm glad somebody is. That's what you hope, is that someone is paid a lot of money and thinks of those things. They should have some of those people hired for the CDC. How about that?
Bernie's really upset about Ebola.
I'm just so upset. I'm not to get off too far off topic, but it's like, what does the CDC do if they're not like, when Ebola lands on your shores, then they're like, we got this. We've been waiting for this for 20 years. Here it is. Nope. They're just non-existent. You know what I mean?
They're like,
Boy,
we're not sure where we put those suits.
If you're that nurse, you're like, boy, treating that guy with Ebola sure was crazy. I'm going to get on a plane now. It's like, you've seen these movies. I know you have.
I know, right? I've
Bernie-
always wanted to be the star of a sci-fi movie.
Bernie was
Here's my
talking to
chance.
Brandon about this earlier today, and then Brandon leans over and he's like, look what I'm playing on my phone. He's playing like a Plague Inc. type iOS game.
I meant to look up before the patch. I actually want to see how Plague Inc. is doing in the App Store. Can somebody look that up? Who's got a second?
Like, can you tell how, like, if it's going up and down in sales
Let's
placements?
just make a guess. Like, where do you think is a Plague game right now in the top 10, and if so, where is it? In either free or paid.
Okay,
Oh,
we each
God.
have hold on. I'm going to take a yes. Gus is going to take a no. We're going to split this. We got this.
Do you
I'm
know?
not
Do you know
allowed to
what
do
is
anything then.
what is the top game on mobile right now? Do you know?
Is it not still Minecraft?
Five Nights at Freddy.
What, really?
Which
That's on mobile?
A small, they did a port to mobile, at least for iOS. I saw it on the charts. It was number 1, and I think it was like $2.99. That's pretty impressive for a very small game.
Can a mobile game like that be as scary as Five Nights at Freddy's supposed to be? I mean, it's between the tiny screen, and you're not going to get a lot of sound
play it
out
like
of it.
this.
It's not surround. You're probably going to be playing it when you're surrounded by other stuff on the go. Is it going to have the kind of impact that it does? when you're
I
in a
have
dark
played
room?
Five Nights at Freddy's, and it's a very fun game, but I paid $5 for it, and it was worth about $5 because even after the first playthrough, you really don't want to play it again. I think a lot of those scare games, scare wears off faster than anything else. It's like I was saying about when Destiny came out, there were some complaints about Destiny and story, but
some complaints about Destiny and story.
So you can't deny, though, that gameplay is the thing that matters most. The person on our podcast who is the most negatively vocal about Destiny was Ryan, and he's the one who plays it the most.
Yeah, he's always playing
He
that.
plays
He
it
plays
constantly.
nonstop.
He plays it constantly. He plays it way more than I do. So
I think they recently announced that they have some like 3.2 million people a day playing for an average play session of 3 hours.
Yeah, that said, I did stop playing because story is one of the things that tends to draw me through open world type games, and there wasn't anything to draw me on. I just quit in the middle of it.
that kept you from completing even the storyline itself, right?
Yeah, I haven't finished the story because there is no story to complete as far as I can tell. There
how
are
do
a
you know
couple.
that until the story's
there are a
done?
couple. Teddy told me.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, Teddy, by the way. Teddy plays a ton of it. I'm really glad it's a teen-rated game. It really makes me feel better about letting a 9-year-old play Destiny.
He plays it constantly.
What doesn't make me feel better is how much better he is than me at Destiny.
really?
He's
That is
so good at it.
awful. Like
He's
he'll get
going
like
into Iron
second
Crucible.
or third in his team on a winning team all the time, and I'm like, I wonder if these people know they're playing with a 9-year-old.
That makes me feel really bad about my performance.
Yeah. It would definitely. I could watch him, and I'm like proud and feeling ashamed at the same time.
That said, he's got some pretty sweet weapons and
Yeah.
a lot of cool shaders.
Yeah.
He always knows where the merchant's gonna pop up.
But it's one of those things that just grabs some people, that mechanic of the grind and getting new loot and leveling up. Even if they're fighting the same enemies over and over again, they love it.
I want to talk about this, but let me read this first.
Speaking of which,
we have a good segue coming off of that, but let me read this first. I want to remind everyone this episode of The Patch is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Everyone here in the studio loves getting their razors delivered from dollarshaveclub.com. Shove them straight to our doors for a couple dollars a month. I can't imagine shaving without them. I just have one question. Why isn't everyone a dollarshaveclub.com member? You don't need to worry about a commitment. dollarshaveclub.com has no contracts. And if you don't want razors for a month or two, they won't send any, and you don't pay a dime. There's no hidden fees, and in fact, there's no fees at all. Just pay for the stuff you order. They even have free shipping. Get 4 blade razors and 4 replacement blades sent to your door each month for $6, including shipping. Their razors are the best I've ever tried, but if you aren't 100% happy, dollarshaveclub.com will refund your money, no questions asked. There's absolutely there's a baby in here.
there's a kid
There's a kid in this office.
There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be a member of dollarshaveclub.com.
shave as smooth as a baby.
Someone go shut that baby up. We're live here. Stop hesitating. Go sign up at dollarshaveclub.com/patch.
Baby up.
You'll be happy you did. That's dollarshaveclub.com/patch.
You know, Gus, I remember before someone was like, why is a guy with a beard reading that thing? And it's because they don't realize how much of your face you do shave.
I shave just about every day.
He has to shave every part of his face that you see that's not beard.
Yeah, any part that's skin is getting shaved.
Forehead,
except for
cheeks.
this. That's safe.
The whole shebang.
So we were talking about the grind.
The grind, and guess who's back in?
Who's what?
Gus Sorola just reinstalled World of Warcraft, which I walked into his office and he said that he shares an office with Barb.
Gus, what have you done?
Yeah, and he was like, hey, I'm reinstalling World of Warcraft. And I was like, Gus, no. And Barb was like, what? And I'm like, you have no idea. This was a whole, like, era of our life of you playing World of Warcraft.
Got me back in.
Non-stop.
I'm so
Gus,
excited. They just launched that new patch. Ton of new stuff, the new models, all the events leading up to, you know how they got me? I'll tell you how they got me. There's all these new events leading up to the expansion. If you complete the pre-expansion quest line, you get a reward and a title.
A reward and a title.
And an
What are
achievement
you going
in
to do
the
with
game.
those?
Some people say titles are their own reward.
So I was like, oh, well, I got to do the pre-expansion quest line.
You got to.
You can't
do
miss
all
out
of
on
that
the
stuff.
title.
Right. So I actually installed it. It's installing still. But this is my process coming back to World of Warcraft. I started downloading it, and then, very quickly it's like, the game's ready to play. I was like, oh, sweet. So I was like, hit play. And it's only partially downloaded. It just downloads the beginning areas. The game loads up, and at first I freak out because I don't see any of my characters. I'm like, oh, shit.
Oh, no.
They're like, oh, no, I'm just on the wrong server. Just change the servers and find my characters. I'm like, I'm just going to log in real fast. Log in, load into Orgrimmar. I'm like, okay, sweet. And then, like, they get a little pop-up. It's like,
I know this.
you got a recruit a friend reward. Like, recruit a friend reward?
might have been me.
I haven't been on it forever. I clicked on it. I got logged out. I was like, okay, that's a sign. Time to go back. Time to go do the patch.
Oh, really? So you're not giving up, though, are you?
No.
I hope you're giving up.
This seems like the worst time of year that you could get back into World of Warcraft.
There's no good time to get back into World of Warcraft, especially for somebody like Gus.
Go in during like February,
Well, I'll still be playing that.
July, maybe.
Or if you're like just starting an interplanetary journey and you have like 8 months of your life to spare, that's also good.
Interplanetary journeys. Gus, how happy are you about the Star Citizen stuff they released?
Yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about. So they have like a 10 minutes of gameplay.
Championship segue right there.
Thanks.
Wow.
It's you. You set it up. She
Mostly,
spiked
I
it.
just really I wanted Gus to talk about Star Citizen so we can feel good about his investment.
Yeah, I feel really happy. You finally got to see what flying through and landing on a planet would look like. And
What about the part where you play the game?
You were informing me of something I didn't even know. You can land on planets in Star Citizen?
Yeah.
I thought it was just like a freelancer wing commander style game.
No, see, in here you can see coming down onto the planet, and then you can see. I don't know how much we're going to show, but you can see when the ship
applause.
actually lands.
You get applause when you land. Everyone's really proud that you did it.
So what is that you landed your ship? So what is the current money count, crowdfunding count for Star Citizen?
I believe they passed 50 million.
55 million, something like 55 million. I think something around there. They are officially Guinness World Records.
For the biggest crowdfunding ever?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're actually #1 on Indiegogo. We're the most funded project on that platform. There is actually something that raised more money than us, but failed. They didn't get their, it was no Ubuntu thing, and it didn't get their funding, and as a result, they didn't, like, all the money was returned. So it was like they set up, which was one of the benefits of Indiegogo, that you don't have to hit your goal like you do on Kickstarter, but they had theirs set up that way.
They were playing on hardcore mode.
Yeah. But we're not quite in the territory of Star Citizen. I fully recognize that.
Well, we could, we could make several movies.
Look, let your crowdfunding go for a couple more years, and you might get there.
You say that
they only raised like 1 or 2 million on Kickstarter when they did it, didn't they? Back in 2012.
Yeah.
And I mean, if somebody announced, hey, if Chris Roberts came out and said, hey, I'm making a new game with Activision or Microsoft Game Studios, and it has a budget of $45 million, that would not be huge news. I mean, a $45 million budget for a video game is not unheard of by any stretch of the imagination.
The rumors for Destiny are $500 million.
Yeah, which they immediately downplayed.
But I think that's also including marketing, and I think that's over the 10-year life cycle.
They're still spending the money.
They're still spending the money. Yeah, right. I mean, it's still $500 million at the end of the day.
But if they were to release 5 games over that time, then it's $100 million per.
I guess so. But Star Citizen's not, if their marketing budget is going to have to come from somewhere too, and unless they get outside funding, it's going to have to come from that crowdfunding.
It's going to be word of mouth. It's like, hey, everyone who donated, go tell a friend.
It's a great marketing campaign.
Yeah.
Even so, 50 million plus to make a game is like, you can make a AAA game for that straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Not me. I can waste about $50 million of somebody's money. That's what would happen with that. God, what would you do if like first time? You don't hear that with like in the case of like you do with film, where it's like a first time game developer has like a $10 or $12 million budget. It's much more reputation based. I'm trying to think of the last time something like that happened. But it's not really, I guess, like a solo endeavor the way a lot of films are considered.
Right.
Either,
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I guess the closest a lot of game developers would get to that is just doing stuff early access and hoping it takes off.
Oh, that's actually kind of segues into something else I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, good job, us.
There was a really depressing
Let's see
story.
how well the segue works before we go congratulating him.
There was a really depressing story about Factor 5 and their decline and a series of games that they were working on that just got canceled. And like the internal...
The Star Wars ones?
Yeah, the internal trouble that they had. This was an established studio who had made plenty of games that were well-liked, well-loved.
Please give me an example of
working
one.
on games that sounded like they would have been good that just didn't get picked up, that people didn't publish for whatever reason.
Like Rogue Squadron type games.
Right.
Rogue Squadron, they made that?
Right.
Okay.
Did they make the first Rogue Squadron? I just remember that one of the ones that was canceled was going to be Rogue Squadron.
They played, they created the Rogue Leader series across the Nintendo 64 and GameCube. So one of the things they wanted to do was they wanted to make a Rogue Leader trilogy collection for the original Xbox, which would incorporate online multiplayer. And they were going to have it be a launch title.
A beloved franchise.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was going to be a launch title on the original Xbox, but due to management changes at LucasArts, they didn't see the value in it and they canceled the project.
Wow.
With game studios, it really only takes like one. If you've sunk all of your financing into one project, and then a publisher just goes, nah.
That's entertainment in general.
Several.
Yeah. Carol Cole went bankrupt because of just a couple movies that just didn't hit.
Yeah. And then the next one, they were going to make Rogue Squadron, X-Wing versus TIE Fighter, launch title on the 360.
Another great Star Wars franchise that just got abandoned, it seems like. I mean, there was nothing wrong with any of those games. I played all of them.
And
take your aggression and your anger out on those Uruks.
Yeah, these are the
You
guys
can do
who made the
this.
decision
42%.
to not make X-Wing versus TIE Fighter 8.
So after that game got canned, Shu Yoshida from Sony contacted Factor 5, interested in them making another game for the PS3 launch, which was Lair, which they described as a huge mistake because they said they didn't have enough time to make the game they wanted to make, and it just didn't work out.
Wasn't Lair the big thing about that was it was a 6-axis game?
Yes, I believe
Yes.
so.
That was like the big push for it. Those kind of things when you're like trying to be the poster child for a new technology, sometimes you can do well because you got kind of a captive audience that wants to experiment with it, and other times it just feels like it's kind of being forced upon you, and then it's just like it feels forced, know?
Then after their exclusivity period with Sony ended in 2007, they decided to work on the Wii. So they reworked that Rogue Squadron trilogy that they were going to make on the original Xbox. They reworked it to work on the Wii. They had weird ideas with this one. You could steer an X-Wing with the Wii wheel, and manage its pedals with a balance board, was one of the things they were throwing around.
That sounds like gymnastics.
Yeah, and use the Wii Motion Plus for lightsaber battles. But the project was finished, but just fell victim to the 2008 financial crisis, they said.
Oh, that was a bad time.
That sucks.
Yeah, and that they just never recovered. And the studio went away. It's like we were working on a couple of games that sounded like they could have been fun. Sounded like they probably would have been fairly successful, and just management problems and just didn't ship anything.
Didn't work out.
Right.
All right, well, I'm basically at 50% here. And by 50%, I mean 45%. So how much time do I have left?
You have 21 minutes.
Didn't make it.
You have plenty of time.
Oh, I didn't make it.
What you got to do is you got to go on a kill streak.
Don't be a quitter. Don't be.
A kill streak better than what I've done so far.
Just fast travel
Don't be a
to
quitter, Burns.
strongholds.
You could stop dying. That would probably get you
Everybody take it easy. God, everybody's being mean to me.
So-
Just playing a video game.
PlayStation TV launched this week.
Gamergate.
Oh,
And
don't get me started.
unfortunately,
Because I have anger issues.
there were a few last-minute entries removed from PlayStation TV compatibility.
What they remove?
Oh, dude, Ego Raptor was on Twitter last night bashing this thing because he was trying to set it up, and it was like in real time he was live tweeting all of his problems with this thing. He was unhappy.
I'm actually really excited about the thing, but I mean, this scares me a little. So they removed compatibility for the PSP games, Twisted Metal Head-On, Valkyria Chronicles 2, and Wipeout Pure. Then they also removed several Konami-published PS1 games, like Metal Gear Solid, Silent Hill, and a
Games
few
you want to
others.
play?
Right, like Metal Gear Solid, I would have wanted to play.
I would imagine that would be one you'd want to test.
They'd be like, oh yeah, I would start the Metal Gear series over in anticipation of 5.
See, what I hear when they say that is, oh, so we're gonna get a Metal Gear Solid HD
Oh, because they're not putting it in there?
We're going to get a re-release? Interesting.
No, but
that's what I
if
hear.
they were going to do that, they would definitely sell this one and they'd be like, "Oh, you had fun with that? Here's the HD remake."
You think so?
Or unless they're do like a classic re-release, or I don't know.
I gotta say, every time there's a compatibility list for anything associated with Xbox, there's a reason why like Halo and Halo titles are always at the top of the list.
Yeah.
For being backwards compatible, if such a thing exists. They didn't have it at all in the Xbox One, but sure enough, a year later, guess what comes out?
Hey.
Master Chief Collection.
They had a news about that. Let me look that up.
So
here it is.
excited for that, by the way.
So they said apparently that Halo 2 Anniversary will not run natively at 1080p.
What, is this new resolution that I've never heard of before, which is 900p? Is that what they're going to put out?
No. It's even weirder.
Really?
They said that initially, while they were planning on hitting 720p, but
why would they tell me what they were planning to do?
that they
They just put it out.
Just let them finish.
but that they really crunched, they doubled down, and they got it to run at 1328 by 1080.
1328 by 1080.
Wait,
Is that not a 16 by 9 aspect
That's
ratio?
not.
So wait, hold on.
What is that?
I don't know.
What is? So normally it's 1080 by what?
1920 by 1080.
So this
Yes.
is.
This
Where
is
did the
more
other
square.
I
Where
don't know
did the
if
other
it's-
600 pixels go?
It's not drawing every scan line, every
Right.
refresh. It's drawing like 2/3 of them. I would think.
But it's drawing all the vertical ones. It's not drawing all the horizontal ones. Is that the
You're
case?
correct. Yeah.
Are we going to be playing this in like not letterbox, but the other?
I don't think it's going to look stretched, if that's what we're getting at. Like, we're going to stretch a 4x3 image to a 16 by 9 image. I don't think that will be the case. But
Wow, suddenly everyone put on a lot of weight.
So yeah, Dan Ayub from 343 said the campaign of Halo 2 Anniversary looked fantastic at 720p with the level of detail and clarity it gave us, but like every other aspect of the game and tech, we wanted to push it further. So in the last weeks of development, our teams were able to meet a stretch goal, and the campaign of Halo 2 Anniversary now runs at 60 frames per second with a crisp resolution of 1328 by 1080.
1328
That's
by
the weirdest
1080.
resolution I've ever heard. Does
They
Twitter
need to-
have
they
any
just call
advice
it-
on what that means?
They'll probably I'll take a look here in just a second and see if
Okay.
they have any.
They need to do what they
feedback.
did with 900p and just call it 1328p. Because that's like, when they announced 900p, I was like, I've never heard this resolution. Sure enough, I went and looked it up. It's designated as a standard resolution, and it's Ultra HD is what they call it.
What does
Yeah.
that even mean?
I don't know.
But Ultra HD
900p apparently.
4K is Ultra HD.
Right. So it's
So
like,
it's not.
yeah.
Wait.
That's what I saw on Wikipedia. Somebody might want to fact check me on that, but yeah, that's what I looked it up and I thought surely somebody's just making up this resolution because I've never heard it anywhere before. But apparently it's a standard.
I
and it's just
assumed it
nobody
was-
uses it except for video game consoles now.
Right. I always just assumed it was like we couldn't quite get to 1080, but we got it better.
Yeah, but historically the Halo games always run at kind of an off resolution. What was Halo 3 released at?
Oh yeah, that was somewhere around 900.
It was a
somewhere in
very
there.
odd
Yeah.
number as well. Like, it wasn't quite that. And I think it just goes back to, like, the movie
It
Titanic.
was Halo 3, wasn't it?
It was Halo 3,
Yeah.
yeah. Like the movie Titanic, James Cameron had built a Titanic that was 90% to scale. And people are like, you spent all the money to build a 90% to scale one. Why didn't you build a 100% to scale one? And he's like, because that was more expensive. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to, right? It's like, if they can get the resolution to where the game runs smooth, that's ultimately, I think, the most important
So
thing.
Halo 3 ran at 1152 by 640.
11, what was it?
1152 by 640.
So it was 640p.
No, it was 1152p. Come on. Get with your standards. I just like, and does anyone go back even to this day and look at Halo as a lower resolution game? I don't. I think it's one of the best looking games in the history of the franchise. And that game is 7 years old.
I think at this point I understand that I will never understand resolution.
What's not to understand? Just square footage.
Because I thought that 1080p was the vertical things, and now you're telling me it's the horizontal things, or you're
1080
making
is the
jokes.
vertical scan
It is the
lines.
vertical, like going down.
Okay, so something is 1100 wide. It's not
Oh, sorry,
1100p.
horizontal scan lines.
What's that?
So that
we're
would-
just being funny. They're not actual.
Okay,
just,
because I'm like at this point I know that little that I'm getting actually confused.
I didn't mean to confuse you. I apologize for that. It's my
I'm,
fault.
look, let's be honest. I'm
mad about-
I'm easily confused, and just a lot of this doesn't make sense to me. 900p doesn't make sense to me. Why you would make something 1080 by 1300 doesn't make sense to me.
According to official Garwood on Twitter, 900p is called HD plus.
900. That's what it is. He is correct. HD plus. What is this mission that I'm about to run?
I don't know.
It's called Squealer.
Squealer? I don't know. I've never seen this mission. Did they add this in an update?
I think I've played this one. Is this where you have to like hurt the guy to call the captain forward?
Oh, is that what it is?
I think so. You have to like hold him for a certain amount of time, and he starts screaming.
Grab and hold the supporter.
Yeah.
You are absolutely correct.
I've seen this. So, and according to another person on Twitter, Jeremy, he says that they'll scale it in horizontal but not vertical. It'll render compressed in the horizontal, so it'll look fine when upscaled.
So okay. All right, I'm just going to take Jeremy's word on that.
They're going to take it and they're going to squeeze it and then they're going to stretch it out again.
Right, but it'll look normal.
Yeah, I mean, we do put a lot of faith in just resolutions as a whole, but there's always compression that takes place with everything. You know what I mean? And they have to compress things to make them fit on these discs anyway. Mm-hmm. So it's not. I don't think even comparing one 1080p resolution with another is comparing apples to apples. I really don't. I mean,
I just want stuff to look pretty.
I hear you. I hear you. You're sad?
No, then I'm set.
Oh, then you're sad. I thought you said you were sad.
Like, if you can also make swords as big as people, I'm extra happy.
Man, I have to admit, the other day I was messing around on my TV and I realized I had my stuff set up in 720. And traditionally, I was one of those people that really couldn't tell the difference between 720 and 1080. I could totally tell the difference.
Okay, so basically you thought you couldn't because you were at 720.
No. I mean, historically, I just didn't. Like, even when I found it, I said, oh, this TV's set to 720. I'll set it to 1080. It won't make a difference. But, oh, that looks awesome. Yeah. That was exactly how my thought process went.
Wow, that looks way better.
Yeah.
Have you played any of Borderlands, the pre-sequel?
Yeah.
It's I've played, I think, about an hour and a half of it so far. I'm still feeling my way around.
I really like the Borderlands games. I say games, but I liked Borderlands 2. I actually didn't play Borderlands 1. And then I missed it. And then I actually bought it before I moved back here because I intended to play it. And then I ended up getting Borderlands 2, and I was playing that with Burnie. That was our long-distance date night game. That's how I played. So I've only ever played it co-op. And I'm worried with this one that I wouldn't want to play it alone because the co-op is so good that I'm spoiled.
Or you had a great co-op partner. You could say that too.
That too. He did revive me. He revived me a lot.
No, she was a siren. You revived me a lot.
That's that I got your back.
Yeah. You would cast that bubble thing on me.
It was great. But I'm worried that this one, because Burnie doesn't want to go back to last-gen consoles. And it's only available on last-gen consoles. So I do not. I would almost definitely be playing it alone, and I don't really want to.
Take an Xbox 360 controller and stuff it in an Xbox One shell and hand it to him. Be like, look, it's a special Xbox One version.
I just have mothballed my 360s. When I finished
I don't know where the
Walking
360s are.
Yeah, they're up on a shelf. You can find them. They're carefully displayed.
They're probably above my height, let's be honest.
Oh yes, it might be above eye level. But once I finished Walking Dead Season 2, that was the last game that I played on the 360. So that kind of retired that generation of gaming for me. And for the PS3, it was Last of Us, because I hadn't played that, and I played that over the summer.
The big problem being that when Burnie decides he's done with a generation of consoles, he takes those consoles and puts them somewhere, and I go, what about the games that I was playing? And he goes, eh.
No, that's not true.
Sounds about right. I believe it.
I can go to our storage that's off-site and get it. It's very convenient.
At any moment.
Whenever you want to play it. She also, though, is saying she's going to go back and play. She has like half a dozen to a dozen games that she still wants to play on the 360. I don't think you're going to go back and do that.
There's 2 that I'd like to at least finish. You're
about to go through a holiday season on a new generation. I don't think you're going to go back.
There's no going back.
There's no going back.
I don't know what I'm really close to the end of Reckoning at this point. I can do it.
Yeah.
And
did you ever finish Lightning Returns?
No, that's the second one. I'm on day 7, but I've completed almost all of the actual game stuff. So I think you just need to wait out a couple more days and get to the final day.
That's my reminder to drink water.
Drink water.
Thank you.
Where is it? It's
sorry,
over
it's
there.
bugging you. I know it's bugging you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lightning Returns. That was the game I listened to Ashley play, and it's like I learned all these sound bites that they repeat ad nauseum.
Do you know what death is?
Do you know what death is? That game is. I love Japanese storytelling so much.
Also this week, The Evil Within came out, which I have not had a chance to pick up and play yet.
Ashley would not play that.
I assume you're not playing it because it's a horror game.
Great big bag of nope.
Yeah.
Yep. We played. What was the game we played being developed here in Austin at E3? Or was it PAX Boston? Yeah, Battlecry.
We played Battlecry.
Yeah,
we played that
she would
at
play
E3.
The Evil Within, but she would play that.
Yeah.
So
because they're both being published by ZeniMax or Bethesda, right?
Yeah.
So
we saw a whole bunch of the games together at E3, just in their booth, and that was one of them. And they're like, "Would you like to play this?" Nope.
Yeah.
I'll go and I'll beat people with steampunk swords. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go and play the game where the cover is the guy wrapped in barbed wire.
Yeah, I played Battlecry.
That just looks painful. It's going to be a painful experience. No one's going to be happy.
I played Battlecry at PAX Prime. It must have been the same booth setup because it was like Battlecry was here, and then right next to it was The Evil Within, and all the people looking for the scary stuff.
All the scary stuff. So I might play Borderlands pre-sequel, but I will play it on PC this time. That'll probably be the move that
I'm in. All right, let's do it. The classes on it are fun. What are you playing as?
The whole game is fun.
I'm playing Athena. Well, I want to play Claptrap, but I think I'll do Claptrap on my second playthrough.
Claptrap, I think that Claptrap would be a great character for someone crazy like Teddy to play.
As long as
because it's completely random. It's so random. Everything is random.
I get the feeling if you had Claptrap you weren't playing as Claptrap, but you had Claptrap in your party, that would get annoying so friggin' fast.
So you're saying if I'm going to play online, I got to play Claptrap. If I'm playing co-op,
and everybody would just be like, get the fuck out of the party. Oh, look who died. Let's not revive them. But they have to have addressed that, how annoying Claptrap is. In a very lovable, endearing way. At the same time, I wouldn't want Claptrap around constantly.
When you're picking your class in that game, it shows you the character. It shows you their name. It shows you their special ability. I believe Claptrap's special ability is listed as vaulthunter.exe.
It is. So it's what it is.
What is that?
I have no idea.
It's a randomizer. So Claptrap's action ability is randomized. So he could make you invisible. You might just start shooting all your guns and all your ammo's gone. You might just start flinging grenades in every direction as long as it lasts. You might get super bouncy.
Now, when you say it's randomized, is it randomized at the character creation stage or
no,
in gameplay?
It's randomized every time you use it.
Wow, that's awesome.
And
it's like an oh shit button.
I'm playing Claptrap.
Yeah.
You know how each of the characters has the 3 different trees that you can go down?
Yeah.
Down the main tree is the only one that's a reliable ultimate. That's if you high five, like Claptrap will hold up and be like, high five. And if you high five him, then everyone in the party gets a buff. If you don't high five him, then only Claptrap gets a buff. But the other 2, the ultimate down both of the other 2 trees, one is like he gets a pirate ship, and I forget what the other.
What in the world? And he gets a pirate ship?
Starting over.
And cannons. And I forget what the other one is, but the thing is, though, those just add into the random pool. So it's like even having those, if you unlock them as the ultimate ability, doesn't mean that that's what you get to use. It just means that that's now a possibility.
I'm sticking by my annoying analysis.
We should
it's crazy. All of his skills.
He's designed to be annoying.
Can we make a party of all Claptraps?
Yeah.
Can we play like 4-player co-op and just have everyone be Claptraps?
Because we got an achievement for all using the same power at the same time.
Oh my God.
If suddenly everybody's spitting grenades everywhere.
It would be insane. His skills they're all like playing roulette. Like he's got one skill that will randomly change like what weapons you're better at, and you get like increased rate of fire and accuracy and damage with this one weapon type, and you get really shit with every other weapon type until it changes again.
Isn't randomness kind of an annoying
like
thing though as a player? I mean, isn't that something you try to avoid in video games, or do people actually like randomness?
Not if you're playing Claptrap.
Yeah, I guess you're on board with
if you choose Claptrap, like this is the life you choose.
Yeah, there are 3 other options that are perfectly viable and predictable, and you can pick those, or you can be a lunatic and choose Claptrap.
Yeah, and they're all really cool. Like Wilhelm has 2 drones, and one's an offensive drone, and it gets like missiles or something.
It screams insults about your mother.
Probably.
Does it?
I don't know.
No. I hope so.
Offensive drone.
I have to ask, it's Borderlands. It might actually do that.
And then there's the defensive drone that just buffs you and I think overcharges you at the ultimate. But Nisha is awesome. So for one, she can get 2 pistols. Pew pew pew.
The Lawbringer.
Yeah, and her ability, her action ability is everything goes sepia tone, like she's in a western. And it auto aims, like it'll headshot like every enemy as fast as you can shoot.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
That sounds awesome.
And
Borderlands, I mean, they have so much character. They do characters so well.
Yeah, and then one of her other trees, I think you get a whip.
Interesting.
So Athena is actually the sanest character, as far as I can tell.
I liked her ability to throw a shield. That's the reason I picked it. I was like, okay.
It's very Captain America.
Mm-hmm. And then I want to get to the ability where you throw it and it just bounces around and hits everyone.
So that brings me to another point. What do you play in Destiny? Like, what's your character class?
A Titan.
I would totally have said that you would be a Warlock.
Warlock, I think, is my least
hunter,
favorite
right?
class.
Yeah, you're a hunter.
Yeah.
I play Titan primarily.
I was like 3rd in a fire team, and I was like, what class do you need? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, Hunter's my second favorite. But I like the special on the Titan the most, where you just like dive in and just kill everything.
I'd love to see numbers that show like gameplay of the different platforms for Destiny and how well it's doing, since it's one of the few titles that's released on pretty much everything.
Except PC.
Except for PC, right? And I'd be curious to know like how, especially if Borderlands was next gen, I'd be curious to see how Borderlands will affect Destiny. Like, would it? Because it gets compared. Those two styles of gameplay get compared a lot. But I think honestly, Borderlands could, after the Destiny experience, for a lot of people feel hollow because they'll go through all the effort to, get these badass weapons, which is a big function in Borderlands, and then they really know like social aspect to that, of being able to share it with everybody else.
And then
That's
you finish
true,
the
but
game
there's also
and
a story and it
put it
ends.
down.
And yeah, that's great.
No, it's not.
That's exactly what I want. I want to play through it. I want to co-op that campaign, have a great time, and then go play something else.
No. This is like the World of Warcraft bug in me. It's like I want to play and keep playing and keep getting better and better. It's like even you reach a point where it's just tiny increments. Like this stuff is only 0.001% better, but I got it.
Nope. I love a game that ends.
No, I'm
That being said, one of my big problems is when there's a game that ends and I don't want it to end, I just don't finish it because I don't want
Reckoning.
it to end.
God, that's so
Like
crazy.
Reckoning or like Lightning Returns actually doesn't fall under that, but there's like I don't
want you to finish Lightning Returns.
I think I haven't platinumed Ni no Kuni yet.
What? You don't like Ni no Kuni?
No, I hated it.
Oh no, Gus hated it.
Oh wow. Okay, sorry, dude.
We fought about this.
Yeah. She's a big fan.
But there's like a lot of times like I'll just hang off finishing a game. I think it took me a while to finish Mass Effect 3 too because I just didn't want it to end.
Yeah. Well, good luck for you. Good for you. It didn't. No, I'm just kidding. I actually like the ending of Mass Effect, but I know it's a huge point of conflict for a lot of people.
Yeah, and for the people who dislike it, I totally get that. I'm not that fussed. As far as I'm concerned, that entire last hour was the ending.
Yeah.
And I cried my ass off, and I had a lot of catharsis, so I feel okay about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I probably would have felt a lot better about the ending, or like, a lot more emotionally tied to it if I hadn't lost my damn save on that game between Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Did you lose your save? I haven't heard that.
What's that? You haven't heard that
I think there was some sarcasm in there.
All right, fair enough.
So Little Big Planet 3 got slightly delayed in Europe. I don't know if you
Define
saw
slightly.
that. A week.
That's not bad.
8 days, I believe.
If you're jonesing for your Little Big Planet fix, I would recommend playing Ho Hokum. I had a lot of fun playing that game on PS4.
Yeah, that just came out. Sony Santa Monica, I believe, put that out. I think it was last month.
It's a smaller game, but it's a fun, like, music-based, like, really artsy, kind of in the style of, like, Flower, in games like that. It's those cool, like, artsy games that don't really exist on the Xbox platform.
Yeah, they had an
It feels
interesting
very zen.
presentation at E3, I thought. It seemed really, really cool.
Yeah.
Just looking at the gameplay.
I get that same feeling from it was No Man's Sky, that it's like it'll be interesting to see. It seems like an indie game that's getting kind of inflated, like blown up, and I'm curious how that'll come across.
Yeah, I think it's still a really small team. I think Hello Games is still like 15 or 20 people.
Yeah, it's definitely a very small team. I'm interested in seeing how it plays because so far I've seen a really cool universe.
Seen cool trailers.
And I've seen cool looking worlds, and I have no idea what you do in them.
Yeah,
I'm very interested in seeing
Also,
what the game part of the game is.
Very limited multiplayer, I believe.
It could be what we think it is, or it could be Spore.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Spore. I remember when that game was coming up to release, everyone talked about it like it was the end all be all of games. It was going to do everything.
I do wonder how much gamers are actually complicit in overhyping some of that stuff, though.
It looks amazing. Is the problem? It's like you see it, like that's a great.
Yeah.
It's a great idea. It's really amazing, like the technical things that they're able to pull off. You're on a procedurally generated planet. You get in your spaceship. You fly into space, fly through space, land on another procedurally generated planet. Without any loading.
Yeah, I do like that. That if you've discovered a planet, it's going to be in my universe. Mm-hmm. It'll be in everyone's universe. So everyone's
also be like, you can't have my planets.
Everyone's
No,
going to
they're
turn that
Oh,
feature off.
And if I go there and I don't know, strip mine your planet, it's strip mined for you too.
Why would you do that? Why would you even think about that?
That's why I don't want you having my planets.
To fuck up Gus's day.
But the problem
And
is
that will affect your world? That'll affect it?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like
problem
it's
is
shared world, but I don't know how much you see other people.
the universe is so expansive that I don't know that even if that happened, I'd ever find a planet in my universe that you found.
Yeah, they were saying that it's like
might force
billions
it.
of years. It's
Right.
huge that you would never ever be able to play all of it.
I would find your planet.
I'd land on a planet that has a rock that looks like your skull.
Yeah, you would.
Little callback.
Well, the Shadow of Mordor has a cool feature like that, which is the vendetta system, where as part of the Nemesis system, if you get killed by a boss in your game, they can go over to your friend's game, and your friend can run a vendetta mission then and avenge your death.
And it turns out that it doesn't just have to be a friend. Gus, were you saying that it pops up like with random people?
It might be followers as well or something, because there's definitely people that weren't on my friends list that I've popped up.
I
How
agree.
much time do we
People
have?
change.
We're at time, so we got to
boy,
go.
Come on, Burnie, you
Bernie,
got
You
87%.
almost made it.
13%.
You're 87%.
I'm
way
gonna
there.
activate my execution spree.
I'm gonna leave on one more. I have one more headline to go over before we cut out. DICE producer admits Battlefield 4 woes damaged fan trust.
I also like that they had to come out and say, like, Battlefield Hardline is going to work.
Yeah, that's a funny statement to release.
Yeah.
Our game will work when it comes out.
I can absolutely say we lost player trust in the game's launch and the early parts of the year. David Sirlin, producer.
In other
at
news,
DICE.
today is Wednesday.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, of course. Like, I don't know why they have to come out and make this statement now a year later.
Well, one of the things I like, too, is that I do like when people react to stuff. I mean, you do want more information is better than less information, right? And even with going back to the parody thing with Xbox ID for independent games, is that Phil Spencer, his last statement about it was, I've got a lot of feedback about my stance on it, and I'm going to evaluate that and make a statement at a later time.
Mm-hmm.
I like Phil Spencer.
Yeah,
he's a smart guy, and since he came on board with Xbox, he's done a lot of really good things, I think.
What do you think is the best thing he's done?
Well, he dropped Kinect.
Dropping Kinect, I think, was a big thing.
Which, while I actually think the Kinect experience is great, because I think watching you run through the house shouting at your console is hilarious.
Dude, I love voice commands on consoles.
You know, I also understand that not everybody liked it. Not everyone wanted to pay an extra $100 for it, and it's good. It's better for them to make it optional. That was a really good thing.
He only asked for
his commitment to games. I mean, I think he's a big gamer and a big commitment to games.
Yeah,
okay.
that was another thing. Is the game, the console's gone. Like, you can tell the focus has gone way back towards games instead of just being like all entertainment all the time.
So I'm gonna end up probably 50 Urich short here, but this is probably a good time to talk. Gus, we're starting streaming this week on Twitch.
Yes.
Ray is gonna be streaming tonight, and you're gonna stream
the
tomorrow,
Walking
right?
Dead season 1 on Xbox One.
Maybe I'll stream some World of Warcraft. Maybe I'll start a new character or something.
Oh my God, you get to watch. You can enable Gus by watching him stream World of Warcraft, and then I'm gonna try to stream Laser Team Production, depending. I'm going to try to stream something on Friday. I'm going to find out if we can stream our early copy of Civ Beyond Earth. Maybe we can get permission to do that.
That'd be awesome.
Or if not, I'll find something else out.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless, we'll post information on the Rooster Teeth site, and you can check it out there.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be back on Monday with the RT Podcast, Tuesday with Screenplay, and Wednesday with another episode of The Patch.
92%. I'm so ashamed.
Finish it. You're almost there.
Finish it.
Bye.
Finish the fight.